We're here today at Fort D.A. Russell, which was an active military installation from 1911 through the end of World War II. We're on about 340 acres, and the buildings here really were for housing soldiers stationed at Fort D.A. Russell, barracks, mess halls, and then a huge stable of horses. The artillery sheds were constructed in 1939 by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. There are two of them. They're nearly identical in their footprint, and they served as garages for World War II efforts. You could fit about 34 trucks in each building. Restoration is part of our 40-year history at Chinati, which began with Donald Judd.
The Chinati Foundation was established by the artist Donald Judd in 1986 as a site for the permanent installation of large-scale works of art by a select group of artists. It was Judd's vision to really integrate art, architecture, and land, and he really wanted to provide artists with the opportunity to place their work according to their own intentions. One of the reasons that Donald Judd came out to Marfa initially was because he loved the high desert. He loved the landscape. He had driven through here in the 40s and sent a telegraph to his mom about how beautiful the mountains were. And he wanted a landscape where he could really see long distances. And he wanted a place with a small population. So Marfa made a lot of sense. In the late 1970s, he was able to purchase Fort D.A. Russell, which is the site of the Chinati Foundation. And Judd had the vision of maintaining the historic integrity of these buildings, but repurposing them for art installations.
Judd's idea for a museum in the West Texas landscape is incredible and unique. People come from all across the state and world to experience it, and that is worth preserving.
The mission of the Chinati Foundation as an artist-centered, artist-created museum is really to care for the art, to present it to a broad public, to support artists, and to build community. We do a lot of educational programs, exhibitions, scholarship, but really preservation is an important part of our mission, really ensuring that we're stewarding the art, the architecture, and the land as Judd intended us to do.
Because of the historic nature of our buildings and the extremely harsh climate here in the far West Texas, we face very unique conservation challenges. For example, the 100 works in mill aluminum, they are monumental, yet incredibly fragile. They can weigh more than 1,000 pounds, but their surfaces can be scratched with the slightest touch. The boxes require a very frequent maintenance. The beautiful natural light that you can see pouring into the space actually exerts very high temperatures on the surface of the aluminum, and that leads to the expand-contract cycles in the metal. I think being here really allowed me to understand Judd's work for the first time. Truly, it's very different. It's the light plays such an important role here, and while it's usually so diligently avoided in museum spaces, here it's a very important part of the work.
These buildings, Donald Judd and the DIA Foundation just acquired them. They were already here, and I'm not sure that the military was really much interested in so much the landscape and the setting of the buildings in the landscape. The concept of Donald Judd wanting to see the artwork in place in the landscape, some of these buildings lend themselves very well to that. So one of the issues in a grassland like this, because we have a lot of wind, is fire, or the potential for fire. So one of the things that you have to do for some of these buildings, you have to make sure that it's going to be safe when if there is a fire.
We're really honored to be receiving a Michael C. Duda Award. Our preservation work is really central to what we do, and to be able to restore these buildings, restore their historic integrity, and ensure that future generations can come visit this art is really, really crucial for us, and we're very grateful. The money from the Michael C. Duda Award is going to be used to restore these two historic artillery sheds that were built in 1939, and it's really essential that we do really necessary preservation work to restore the envelope of these buildings.
The biggest challenge for us is that we are working in a fragile desert ecosystem that is working against the buildings and against the art. The architecture informed the art, the land informed the architecture, and all worked together in sync.
The name Chinati is an indigenous word for passageway through the mountains. It's the name of a mountain range south of here, and Judd really thought beautiful landscape. It's totally gorgeous land, and I think Judd named the Chinati Foundation as an homage to the peoples and the place, really an homage to this region. Preserving these buildings is really essential as a reflection of the history of Marfa and our region, but also as a reflection of artistic excellence. Excellence can be anywhere. It doesn't just have to be in big cities. And I think Chinati is really a reflection of that.